scot-free. So these are the kind of players I'm talking about who are going those more single routes. Formats. We talk about how mentally grueling this is, the amount of pressure, the amount of time put into this, and then your game 3 gets ended within a millisecond like that. He falls, Blake goes down, all that loot goes over to Stowe, and now Blake has to sit back and spend 20 to 30 minutes watching, thinking about what he could have done differently, when honestly it is so hard to think what you should have done when it comes down to a headshot snipe. But at the end of the day, the rotates can be different, the builds can be different, but Blake is going to be very upset with that one, and he has to bounce back, he has to keep his mental in check, because he's still on pace. We talked about it. 10 points every game is what you need to win this one. He's on 30, and this is game 3. So if he keeps up the consistency, he will be okay. But unfortunately, Blake picking up game 1 win, the last 2 games not going as great for him.
And that's the rough part, right? Proving yourself, proving to you can do it as a solo. He has yet to actually prove that. Even with the strong starts, we've seen him come out the gate swinging and then continue to fall. It just seems like that is how his history has been written time and time again. But don't worry, we still have half a competition in front of us. This is only game 3, and it is just kicking up, ladies and gentlemen. But okay, Clix has high ground. He's got the mountain on check. It looks like he's probably even put some tags down, so he might be chilling as far as the Storm Surge goes. On the other side, though, here's FaZe Dubs taking it up with Azures. I gave FaZe Dubs a lot of credit at the start of this, talking about his consistency to make it through the end game. And he's already engaging onto a mid-game fight or early game fight with the player that's in top 4. So this is 2 top 10 players potentially holding out one another.
This is Monster. If you know, let me know. But he's out here at the fish farm, and I think this addition to the game is super underrated. Look at the amount of fish he's able to gather here at this spot.
He's not holding them, not just yet, though. He's got one more shot left in a harpoon. Let's see what he's going to be able to kind of fish up here. And that one elimination is going to be a big frag. You can see he's sitting on quite a pool of loot here. The excess material inside the box, the excess of floppers sitting on the dock here. Whew. Now that he has zone, though, this might work for him. Yeah, he's got so much to choose from.
He can hold this down. He's got all the loot in the world. He can kind of just box around this, maybe hold it and come back for it if he needs it. It's just, I haven't really seen this drop spot having too much strength, but I feel like it is such a powerful one. But I guess at the same time, you are very exposed. You need to get your weaponry around here as well. And looks like he has a good rotate, so someone to look out for. And you talked about it, people you're looking out for, Monster. I'm really looking out for Coop right now on the feed. Last game was very impressive. He was backed against the wall with low mats, pressure on him, and he performed really well. And Coop is known for that, being a very aggressive controller player who can really back himself in those scrappy end games. But I want to see if he then has the kind of the rotates and the ability to be consistent and avoid those scrappy situations, because no matter how good you are in them, it's players like Dubs who can avoid having to be shambles that are always going to come out on top in these 6-round tournaments.
I do agree with you. Coop is on a nice little streak right now, but SF looking to get the beans down in the shots, and yes, he's going to find every single one he needs. It's going to be onto XX Shark, And I do want to give a shout out to Shark as well, someone who only played one of the qualifiers and pulled himself into the grand finals. So although he didn't put as much effort possibly as these other players, he still stepped up to the plate when it matters most and brought himself to the table this far. Who knows though, maybe that lack of preparation, that lack of seriousness is one of the reasons he isn't finding success today, but he's still such an exciting player to look out for. On the other side, another exciting player is Tab. He's fighting another Titan here. I believe it's easy on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, it's going to be a big engagement. Tabs goes out. He tries to use that stair to kind of crash pad up towards Hype, but unfortunately messes it up. Kind of just pushes him back into his box. Tabs has to rethink how he's going to play this because he needs this elimination. He has no shield. If this turns into a long drawn-out fight, if Avery gets a few tags on him to open this one up, it's only going to go worse and worse for Tabs. We've seen Colazo, his duo mate, doing quite well here today after game 2 was up there. I think had a good game 1, shaky game 2, but Tabs trying to make something of this one. He's kind of revealed his play though. He messed up that crash pad, and now Avery knows he's probably going for it. And the issue with those crash pads, as good as they are, if you go for high ground and you have predictable movement and your opponent has a good shotgun, they can really line up a nice shot on you as Tabs deciding this is a fight that he doesn't want to take. But I don't think his opponent is doing the same thought process. He wants this one as well. He knows the Tabs is desperate. He can sense it.
No, he's fighting up against Avery. Avery's gotten his taste of being an FNCS champion as well, so you got to be careful with someone like Avery who's got the confidence in his pocket, the experience to back it up here on the biggest stages, on the biggest final days. Not everyone can speak like that, and that's going to be a shield crack. You know it's the green light, but oh my gosh, Avery walks into a monstrous charge shot from the response to Tabs, and yes, there it is, the follow-up, the big shot from the air, in the sky, the quick drop kick there. That's going to be the point, the siphon, everything Tabs is going to need to keep him in the game now.
Yeah, I talked about it. When you're in the sky and you're in the crash pad, it's predictable movement and you can charge up a shot, but I didn't think it would swing the other way. Tabs managed to pick that one up, and Fishy, someone that has been performing very well, Monster, who I don't think we've seen anything of today, so hopefully looking to have a big game 3. Needs to pick up the pace. Looks like he's doing that. He's making his way to the top, so 11 points, not bad. Doing well with a few good games. He could jump up there, but he's on the back foot now. There's 2 players in front of him trying to get some damage down, and Fishy steps forward into it, and he falls, though. You talked about a Monster charge versus tack. Even if you get a heavy charge shot, the extra fire rate on the tack, you can get off 2 shots with the tactical shotgun for every 1 of the charge, and that's what brings DGen out on top here, on top of Hypnos, and that's his high ground. And Fishy back to the lobby now on
Absolutely, and I was just about to start priding all the new names and faces that are breaking into the top 10, because we don't see a lot of the star veteran players up there, right? Your favorites. They're not there. This top 10 is looking totally new. It's looking fresh. It's the up-and-comers who are really thriving today. And you can see it just like that right here. Players like Class are looking to put up. I think of the only players in the top 10, it looks like Stubbs, right? One of the bigger names. But we'll see as the competition continues out. Fishy is one of the more exciting, new, rising stars on the scene. 11 points, not too shabby. That was about top 30, but to fall, that is a rough one. That's a tough pill to swallow. On the other hand, though, Chelsea really firing up here. He's looking pretty good. 2 eliminations. Gosh. The Latin community must be proud of some of the most exciting engagements that we've seen throughout any of the regions so far. And the community as a whole. see the new breed stepping up now. 7 floppers into Class's inventory, though, Ozzy. I can't help but think that he is definitely making endgame and probably going to be doing it by sitting in the storm just a little bit and biding his time to play some points.
You have to think, and that's what's been so scary about the current meta with crash pads. At any time, your game can end. If you're up against the wall with someone who's aggressive, someone who needs a refresh, doesn't matter how many meds you have, what weapons you have, what floppers you have, you can fall at any moment, and that's what's making this solo FNCS one of the most exciting, but also one of the most volatile. It is really hard to hold on to your position when at any time, doesn't matter where you are, something can go against you. As P-God, one of those aggressive players, no eliminations on the board so far, but only has 5 builds. These are my favorite players to watch. The ones who have the mechanical prowess, the skillful players, but they don't have what they need. You know they're going to go down swinging. They need to make something, and P-God's looking for it. He has 2 chug splashes. He has no utility, no movement, only 6 builds. How is he going to find his elimination? How is he going to get back in the game? He has rotating zone, so he's here in the position where people are going to have to make their way towards him, and that's where he's going to try and jump on them. He's going to be ready to pounce. He's going to try and capitalize on someone not aware of the fact that he's in these builds maybe. He's trying to lean on the AR. He has that sniper as well, but late game, it loses a lot of its effectiveness when things are moving so fast. But if anyone can land the shot, it's probably going to be P-God. He's down to no builds now, does not have a single build to his name. On the low ground, and there it is. He finds elimination, not on anyone, but on Kanata. And Kanata normally going into these end games very stacked, so I believe P-God will be able to fish up that loot. He'll be able to grab maybe those minis and extra material, and that's just it. It's why we love watching these players when they're on the back foot. What can they do to claw their way back in the game, Monster?
That was a nail-biting clutch right there. The impact to find the loot that he needed. On the other side, though, here's the wide shot of the player still in the game. Aspect, reverse, and they're accruing points as things go on. P-God's still alive on the low ground. We're going to be hopping in with Class, who's going to find himself ace here in the mid. We talk about Class was top 10. He wants more. He wants to get closer and closer to top 5. And look, 4 floppers still in the inventory. We knew that it was a no-brainer he was making it this far. He can still continue to do more. I'm seeing players like Kalazo as well, alive in the high ground. Out comes all the crash pads, though. The rotates are happening. Calc, who's been struggling so far in the competition, will he be able to make it to the end as well? He needs these points desperately now.
And we haven't, the mythic items we haven't seen at all today, except holding on to that mythic Chug Jug and that mythic burst AR. Does so much damage. The Chug Jug so hard to get off at this point, but except looking to make something of this, has 1 crash pad left, not using it here for the rotation, maybe saving it for an impact, but 33 builds. He's managed his inventory well. He's gone to endgame. He's still got the minis. He still has the mass. These are those players who aren't in a position like P-God. They're not looking for desperate eliminations. They're trying to control sidelines like this and keep themselves a little bit safer on front sides. He has the edit, a 27 white tag. He might get that elimination to Storm. No, the player comes back right. It was Ronaldo. Ronaldo goes down just inside top 30 as Kalazo picks up an elimination. This leaderboard is going to be so tight at the top, Monster.
It's already changing. That's right. Accept is ramping his way up as is Class. These were 2 players in the top 10. Now breaking for top 5. They want more of the cake. They want bigger pieces, and they want to eat it too. Right here, right now. On the wide shot, though, no one is king of height. Everyone is going to have to battle it out. Accept here is going for the 15-second big chug heal off play. He's trying to get as much HP as possible, approaching the last end game. This is probably the final time he's going to be able to do it. On the other side, though, Class behind the wall steps out, and yes, eats one up right there, just like that. The big follow-up, the 30 elim, and the shockwave launcher to follow him in, but it might have been a misplay. He has to bounce his way back in. Up to the high ground he goes, and he is out of material. So what is he going to do now with only 1 play left? It's to go up. It's the challenge high ground. He sends someone flying, and yes, they go out into the lobby, into the storm. And now Class has to do more, though. It's a battle against the grappler. Can he do it? Yes! He follows up the monster shotgun shot. And he still has more. He jumps down onto another player. Oh my gosh, he is tearing it up now, Ozzy. It's back-to-back eliminations here. And he is clearly in first. And if he can close out, he'll continue to hold the lead.
He's on high ground, a 1v1v1 with Calc and Accept on the low ground, who used that mythic Chug Jug late game to get him to this point. He falls to Calc. Calc 1v1, but are we going to see the mythic charge shotgun come into play? The mythic shockwave, he does. Class gets the elimination onto Calc, but that is a big game for Calc, and Class on 38 points. Someone that we were talking about a little bit was just outside that top 10, and he is very, very much at the top now.
From 20th after game 1 to 3rd coming into game 3, and then in game 3 with a victory royale, and a strong victory at that. Don't worry, though, boys. We're going to be sending it over to Zeke Sundown. I believe Bala, who's still up on the table right now, to break down that action for us, because that game was phenomenal.
Bro, it was, in fact, a lot of action finally kicking up. And, of course, action has been happening. You know how I am, though. Here, great win there from Class, ending on the 38 points. This is going to shake up the leaderboard quite a bit. Now, gentlemen, we do have to take a look at the standings as we are now wrapping up halfway point here in NA East. We've only got 3 games left to go. And Class right now, he's making a strong running for that first place spot.
I mean, not just a strong running for it, he's secured it. As Monster talked about, his placements have been so absurdly good. 20th in the first game, but then after that, 3rd place with 2 elims, and then following it up with the Victory Royale in 6 elims, pushing him 3 points clear of Coop right now, 5 points clear of Accept. And honestly, the story has been about those 3.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, you already mentioned the average placements for all of them. It's so close. It's so tight. Right around 10th place is where they're placing pretty much every game, but that also comes with its risks. The Roller is a player who will go on the opposite of that. He'll have one big game every so often, and that gives them the opportunity to really catch up if there's an opportunity like we saw in Game 2 where Blake fell after winning that first one.
Yeah, now you can see we flip on over here to the next page. Jelty, Azures, Not Builds, built by Gamers AJ, Illis, Nobu Tragics, Vanish, Jock Q, OT Polarized, Energy, Ronaldo, and FaZe Dubs rounding out the top 20. That's 19 points there. Don't forget the lead currently is 38, and there is 3 games remaining. So Calc, even with that second place performance, only up to 24th right there. It's going to take another big game, but nobody's quite out of it yet, with still half of the competition to be played.
Man, I'm waiting for that tonal shift. I'm waiting, like, you can already tell it's so tense in NA East. Everyone's just, like, holding on. They're hoping to not misstep. And you could tell in the way that they're all playing. You could see that. You could feel that.
Yeah, you really can. I mean, these guys are all putting it out there. They're playing with passion. They're really making it so that every single game they try their best to get to that end game. There's certainly players that I'm seeing do that, because we saw Kaz in a little bit. Coop as well has been dominating, clutching, and making sure that every last second is spent for him in getting eliminations.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of action happening here in NA East, but don't forget, this is a global competition. We actually have the results from Brazil, so let's take a look at those to crown a new FNCS champion in Brazil. Now, do keep in mind, it's going to be a little bit confusing, but we have 2 Kings at the top of the leaderboard. But Kings, I Will Not Lose, Sundown takes it all home.
And at the end of the day, all hail the king, and the king is from Argentina, or Todo Salve al Rey y es de Argentina. King, 5th place at the World Cup, taking it home, and he did it by winning the first 2 matches. However, SNG King turned around and won matches 3 and 5 to put pressure on him. However, King was able to hold on at the end and edge him out by just 2 points. You can see Brazil is a region of kings, but at the end of the day, the Argentinian one edged out Singularity's King from Brazil. You can see PH is in just behind the track there in 3rd as well. Xenix God in 4th with 50 points. Kadu in 5th. Phaser, a user there as well. As we flip on over to the next page, Techno Viking, a name we've seen before. History, Mohaj, Rendley, a number of players here. But congratulations to all of them for even making the grand finals and having a fantastic FNCS run.
And I gotta say, looking at that top of the leaderboard and pretty much all of this, it's so tight. And the Battle of Kings is one that I'm going to have to go back, because that